is the game plan. Let's go. When the team's on the air, you better know that it's over. These dudes colder than wintertime, grab a pullover. And if Corda starts to speak, better know that it's on. He shut you down before you speak to let you know that you're wrong. So get your facts right, homie, before you step in the flames. Because James hates sitting down and listening to lames. And if Danny got $1 for every show that he kills, he'd be a millionaire living up in Beverly Hills. But if Holden wasn't a good guy, you'd probably be dead. Because this dude won't stop until he gets in your head. So turn the volume right up because the game plan is on. The best in sports commentary is right after this song. Peace.
Welcome in and good Friday evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's the game plan. As always, I'm your host, Cordell Moody. Alongside with me is my man, Eric Alvarado. Eric, it's been a couple of days. A lot of exciting things have happened as usual. You know, things keep on going, but it is the weekend, thank the Lord, which means we are that much closer to the NFL.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's never a dull moment in the sports world. It really isn't. Got a lot to talk about. We missed you guys. It is Friday. Me and Moody are going to break it down for you.
Are we ever? But before we even get into the breaking down thing, there is one thing that I do want to do. I want to give a shout out to a certain player. His name is Logan Thomas, and I want to give a prayer out to his family. For those who do not know, Logan Thomas, tight end for the Buffalo Bills, he actually just suffered the death of his daughter. She was a premature baby. She didn't make it. He decided to speak out about it, which shows the strength of him and his family, and discussed how he's leaning on this Bills team to help him get through it and that his wife is strong. So I just want to give a quick shout out because I know we got a lot of sports to get into. I don't want it to rush through it later on. Just a quick shout and prayers and my condolences to his family, and hope him and his family get through this because I know how tough that could probably be for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I could only imagine having two kids myself. Losing one of them, it would be a total tragedy. So we're definitely thinking about him, definitely praying for him and his family, and hopefully he can lean on the rest of the people around him and he can get through these tough times.
Absolutely. So now that we, got that out of the way and made sure that we sent it and let everybody else know what's going on, let's get into these sports. Let's brighten things up a little bit, but not too much because, of course, we have to start with the drama. And the drama that is going on right now is obviously...
No, more drama?
Always more drama. It's because they just can't let us have a week where we could just talk sports. They always have to give us something more to talk about.
What would a week be without some drama?
It would be like talking about hockey every week and that's it, or golf every week and that's it.
You better apologize.
I'm just joking, but let's be real. It's not, you don't see drama in hockey or in golf or anything like you see in the NBA or the NFL. Let's be honest there. But for those who don't know, McNair, the owner for the Houston Texans, decided to, behind private doors in an owners meeting, to use a metaphor to speak that players and people around the league and the media did not take a liking to, which was they were having a conversation about the protest, and while talking about the protest, he said that the protesters for the national anthem said that you cannot have the inmates running the prison. Now, that went like wildfire.
The asylum, right? The asylum.
Nope. Just prison. I didn't hear about.
So
I didn't see
running the prison.
Yes.
Is that what he said? Okay.
Yes.
It's the same. It's the same idea.
Yes, the same idea. Obviously, he just didn't say of the asylum. So that went like wildfire, and people took it how they wanted to take it. Some people obviously think of it as figuratively. Some people took it literally, as in that's how you think of these players. And some people took it as a racist thing. Of course, we have a mixed bag of emotions, but one person whose emotions were very clear was DeAndre Hopkins, who decided, who is the wide receiver for the Houston Texans, that he was not going to show up to practice, so he did not appear because of that. Other players were persuaded to stay for practice because of this. A lot of them were ready to walk out on their owner, which is something we've seen before with the Clippers in LA.
Oh, yeah.
So, Eric, you heard it. We discussed it a little bit before. You had your reaction, which was more of the friendly kind of reaction. So go ahead and give your take on what you thought this man, if it was a big deal, no big deal. Go ahead.
So kind of like when we had talked about this off air, what I had said is it's it's an old school cliche that people use, and it's not real meaning. It's not to be taken literally. I've heard the expression used many times. Um, I've heard it used on sports radio many times to describe some situations. I personally don't have a problem with it. He said it also in confidence to somebody else. It wasn't during a press conference. It wasn't broadcasted nationally.
Well,
right?
it wasn't broadcast nationally. It was behind closed doors, but it was in a meeting. Players did
wasn't a
hear
meeting.
it. Yeah, players heard it.
Yeah.
So even though
And
it
I'm
wasn't
sure,
in the media,
listen,
it's still in the
we're-
media.
Yeah, well, I think, listen, I can see where people would have an issue with it, if they were to take his words literally. I just think that we're living in a time where every single word people say is going to be totally critiqued and blown out of proportion, and anybody can feel offended by anything nowadays. I think it was just a basic saying or a cliche, old school saying that people have used to explain, like, listen, it's almost the same as saying, like, he's just saying you can't have the employees running the company. Like, that's what the owners are for. It's just he used poor words. I guess he could have used some other analogy, or he could have
used
more,
what you just said.
Yeah, but sometimes he's an older man. He's an older gentleman. Like he sometimes old cliches have a different vibe to them that people don't catch on if you haven't heard it before. And let me ask you, Corda, have you heard this saying before?
No, I personally have not heard this.
Yeah, some people haven't, and it's funny because before we came on air, I had called my mother and I asked her if she's ever heard that saying before,
Mm-hmm.
and she said that she hasn't.
Right.
But I have, and I've heard it more than once.
So here's my thing. My whole take on this thing is he messed up. He messed up bad, and he did apologize.
You think it's that bad? I mean, I think it's bad to the fact where the media is going to get a hold of it, and now you got players trying to leave practice, and it's not that bad.
All right.
It shouldn't be that bad.
No, but it is, and I know he's come out and he's apologized, and in his apology he said, "I regret that I used that expression. I never meant to offend anyone, and I was not referring to our players. I used a figure of speech that was never intended to be taken literally. I would never characterize our players or our league that way, and I apologize to anyone who was offended by it." Now,
right.
There are people who obviously took that apology with a grain of salt and said that he showed his true colors, and to me, I believe he showed his true colors. And when I'm talking color, I'm not talking, he's racist or he's a slave owner. I'm talking about how he views his employees. And when you say a saying like that, or even if you're talking about we can't let our employees run our company, okay? Let's step back a second. And this tells me how underappreciated and undervalued these players are, not by just the owners, but by society, because of the fact that we treat them like they're privileged, spoiled, and like they should be lucky to do what they do because they're able to play a game and make millions. But these guys are highly skilled, highly trained. These are highly gifted and talented people. You can't just find these people anywhere. There's only so many of them. They are a rare type of people, especially mentally, because you've got to be mentally tough to take the beatings that they take and keep on going in this
no
league,
doubt.
right? All right. So with that being said, these players do run your league. Your league does not run without them. It's not like a regular day job where it's easier to find somebody to replace those people if they don't want to hop on board with how the company runs than it is to find somebody at their caliber level. That's not something you find out on the street. So yes, these players who give you their blood, sweat, and tears 365 days a year, basically, yes, they do run your company. They do. These employees do run your business, literally and figuratively. And without them,
in a sense,
you're done.
But it's a two-way street. They both need each other.
They do both need each other, as in everything, but they should have. These aren't just your regular everyday employees. That's what I'm saying.
But I totally understand in the sports world and in professional sports in particular, is a unique job.
Yes.
It's unique, but the scheme, like the way the big picture is the same as everywhere else, and there's a hierarchy. You know what I'm you
So
get what I'm saying?
if you would say the owner is the most important, who is the second important?
I'm not gonna say they're the most important, right? But they're the most powerful.
I get this is where you and me have that issue. This power struggle is not
Well,
really that much of a thing.
I don't want to put it so much as like it's power, right? It's they're the owners of the team, okay? So they ultimately call the shots. If they don't want you there, then you won't be there. Okay? And they're the ones that are writing the checks. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
Right? Yes, the owners yeah, okay. The owners are making the players rich, right?
Are
but
they?
also in return, the player yeah, well, yes. I mean, would you not call multi-million-dollar deals rich? I mean, that's rich to me.
To me, the owners aren't making them rich. To me, they are.
Well, okay.
It's like
Let
you're
me
getting
say
it.
this.
To me,
If you don't want to say it rich, Quidel, they're changing their lives drastically.
No. This is what I'm saying. It's like working off commission. All right. If you're working off commission, why are you getting that money? It's because of your performance. You are making yourself as much money as you can off of how much you can sell, right? Commission based. It's the same thing in the NFL. I'm not going to give the owners credit for how much money I'm making. They're not giving it to me.
No. You earn it. You're right. Okay. Commission based, you go and you earn your paycheck. But they are the ones signing the paycheck. So, okay. Here's the thing. They're earning those paychecks, but the owners are the ones giving it to them. But also, in return for their play, the owners are also making money off of them.
Yes.
So it's the two live together. They both need each other.
Yes. So this is why I would.
It's just a weird thing because it's a business, and this is how businesses work. And this is not new. This is not like something that we're just hearing about. Like, we've always known about the NFL is a brutal business. It's what have you done for me today? And that's how it is. It's always brutal. You know what I mean? Especially when you're dealing with people who have families and you have to uproot them out of cities and move them to other cities. It's tough, but that's the business, and that's what they signed up for. They're not prisoners. Let me put it that way.
Well, yeah, we know they're not prisoners, but I'm saying, and they're not commodities. They're far beyond commodities. But what I'm saying is their power, to me, when I look at this, it is equal. It is not one above the other. If we were talking about, when you talk about an employee in my company, we could talk about the person who works in the concessions. We could talk about the person who cleans up in the football field and gets the field ready for the next day. Yeah, sure. We can talk about them, but when you're talking about it's players and owner, they are together. This is not a one above the other type of deal, because you can't make your money. You can't without those star players. You try to do that. Look at the Browns, man. They are not making as much. They are not as valued as a Patriots team because they don't have those players.
As valued. They're not as valued. No, the team.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not to say that the owner isn't just as wealthy.
So you think that the Browns owner is as wealthy as?
No. I'm not saying that because I don't know. I have no idea. But I will say that the Browns owner, almost absolutely 100%, is very, very well off.
No, yes, of course he's well off.
Here's my question. Why is it that you think that the players have more? Well, you're saying the players have more power or just as equal?
Equal.
Okay, so if the players wanted to make a stand, so what? They just stop playing?
They can if they want, and somebody else.
And then who's gonna suffer the most?
Who do you think will?
Not the owner.
You really don't think so?
Absolutely not.
I don't see that. I think they
It comes down to money, and who's gonna have the money in the end?
right. So here's the and
Not the player.
I'll give you the perfect example. Both of them are gonna get hit. Both of them are gonna get hit hard. And
The
you
player the
compare
most?
no, you're gonna compare it to the percentage they have, right? So, for instance, if I have $1,000, all right, I can lose 50% of that. If they have $10,000 and they lose 50% of that, we're both gonna lose. The only issue is I started off with less money than you, but we are
And
both about to lose the same
you,
amount of money.
you're also fully invested, right? Like you don't have, for the most part, while they're in the league, don't have backup plans, right? You know what I'm saying? Like this is what they're fully invested in. This is going to be their life's income. There will be nothing else for the most part with most of these guys. Me, so you had 1,000, you lost 50%. I had 10,000, I lost 50%. But this is also not the only thing I'm invested in. You think that these teams are the
Right.
only things that these owners have invested in?
So even okay, so but going
They're going to be good. They're going to be fine, and they'll move on for
no,
sure.
they won't be fine, and you can't move on. You're going to continue to take that hit. Now, if you're talking about a longevity, endurance, like if we're gonna sit here and see who's gonna last
Who's
longer,
going to last longer?
sure.
Who's it going to hurt the most? It's going to be the player.
Yeah, sure. You can put it that way. It's gonna hurt the player because he started off
100%.
with less, but they both took the same amount of hit. That's why I'm saying
Your
it's the same
50%
type
is
of
way
power.
more- Your 50% hurts more than mine, and we don't even know if the hit would be the same. We don't even know. You know what I mean? It could be the percentage could be way different depending on how wealthy each one is or how not wealthy they are. The
Look,
owner
all right,
might not take a 50% hit.
all right. So let's
Maybe
put,
his overall, his overall wealth isn't half, like maybe not half of what his overall wealth is in the NFL team.
okay. So let me put it to you this way. Look at the domino effect. If I put it this way, if the players don't show up, if the players say nope, we're not doing this. All right, now tickets, that's gone. All right, that means now food, that's gone too because you make money off people who come to the stadium and buy food. Parking, that's gone as well. All right, then we go into gear. People want to buy gear there, that's gone now too. All right, now you don't have money to pay for advertisement as well, or you can if you want, but you don't have any players who are going to make back up that money for you. Like they will take serious hit.
There's no debating that they'll
And then-
both take a hit. They'll
right?
both take a hit. But I'm
and
just
then
saying
hold on.
players will be worse off.
Hold on. And then you have cable companies who are going to be like, you were supposed to put on a show for us today. You didn't. Now they're going to get involved. There are so many ways that the NFL would get attacked on money. It is crazy. It's
This
not
is
just a
different
simple
because
missing a game. And if they miss a game,
the teams don't have contracts with the networks. The NFL does.
right. So if you miss a game, you're just missing that check. So I'm not getting that check. All right? Do you think, honestly, especially the big star type players, because those are the ones I'm talking about not showing up for games especially, do you think those players really need one check, two checks,
Not a game check. A
three
game check?
checks? Those are only a couple
No.
100,000 per game.
No.
Right?
Not a couple games checks. No, that's
So
not gonna.
if I miss, especially now that I'm thinking about it, if I miss one game and I miss a couple 100,000, you're going to be missing a hell of a lot more than a couple 100,000 out of your check. I promise you that. Because of all the merchandise and everything that I just told you about.
Yeah, but you're not gonna lose out on that for just one game.
If you make it known after one game that this is going to be the thing, like thinking about it like again,
I don't know. It's a tough thing because we don't know the numbers and we're totally just speculating. But we can agree to disagree.
where
Who's gonna take-
I don't
Either
agree
way,
to disagree.
Either way, though, Cordell, back to the original point. I don't think what he said was meant to be taken literally, and I don't necessarily. Do I personally think that he views his players as prisoners and he's running the prison? No, I don't. Was it a poor choice of words? Yeah.
I
And
don't
now
think,
he's got to answer for, the drama he's stirred.
I don't think that it was a poor choice of words. I think he meant what he meant. Obviously, I don't think he meant it as you said, as them being prisoners or inmates or him running a prison. I think
No, he really meant it the way, like,
I just
the
think that
way.
he thinks lowly on a respect level of the
Mm.
players. That's
No,
exactly
I
what I
just think
think.
that I think what he was trying to say was that we can't have the employees running the business. That's our job.
Right.
That's the way to get it.
And that's why I'm saying no. You have to understand that this is not a regular business.
No, no,
This
no. But they are his employees. They are being employed by the Houston Texans owner.
Yes, but these
They're
are not
employees.
guys that you can just get off the streets, which means yes, they should have a say in how this business is run.
Trust me, they do. They do, and that's why they have the players' union, and that's why we're having these meetings in the first place because of the players.
Right.
They have their pull. They
No,
have
no,
their pull, but
right.
ultimately,
He's saying that they shouldn't. He's saying that this shouldn't even be a thing. This should not even be a case where they have some type of pull. This is not a thing that they should even be able to talk about. We should be able to
maybe
lay down
not,
the
maybe
law
not
and
this
move
in
on.
particular. Well, this he's. I think he might be talking more important, like more specifically about these protests, in general.
And I did not mention, and my apologies, but also what was noticed at this meeting was Jerry Jones and Snyder, who is the Redskins owner, decided to have issue with it's slipping my mind right now who the 49ers owner is, but they decided to take issue with him and start with him because he should have never even let Colin Kaepernick kneel in the first place, because this is what kicked everything off. Like, this is becoming a dictatorship is what they're trying to do with this, and that is not how you can run this business when all of your money solely depends on these players, and they deserve their respect and their words to be heard.
Yeah. I have not that much more to say about it. I mean, it's gonna play itself out, and I guess we'll see more what happens. I hope that at least for the Houston Texans team, that they can move past this, because they got some playoff hopes to be thinking about right now, and they don't need this distraction, especially going into a tough game with Seattle.
Yes. So speaking of Seattle, speaking of all of that fun stuff, let's get into that fun stuff. Let's talk football, like
Yeah.
on the field.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
All right, so let's start off Thursday night
I'm
football.
better at that.
So Thursday night football just passed. We had Dolphins, we had Ravens. For those of you who don't know, Eric chose Ravens, and I chose the Dolphins. Now, before anybody decides to laugh, how could you choose the Dolphins? Yeah, it's easy to say that in hindsight.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, and it's easy to mock someone in hindsight. But my argument for this game was simple. Matt Moore, I felt like, would do a lot. I felt like he made the offense run more efficiently when he stepped in for Jay Cutler. And I felt like in this game, I trusted Matt Moore and the Dolphins offense and defense more than the Ravens, Joe Flacco offense and their defense. Now, obviously, the final score to this game was 40-0, the biggest marginal loss on Thursday Night Football ever, and it's a shutout. Eric, I'm gonna ask you.
Biggest shutout of the season.
Yes, so I'm gonna ask you, Eric. Was this more Ravens good, or was this more Dolphins bad? Was this something to tell us the future moving forward with the Ravens? What are you thinking?
A lot of the times when you ask me this type of question, it's hard to answer because it could go either way. This time, 100%, it was good Ravens than it was bad Dolphins.
Okay, explain.
Well, for anybody who watched the game all the way through, the defensive scheme that the Baltimore Ravens ran was absolutely genius, and they dominated the line of scrimmage. And that's partly due to the fact that they got their defensive tackle, Brandon Williams, back. And they did not allow Ajayi to run. And they forced Matt Moore to take his shots down the field. But they just constantly got pressure, hit hit him often and hit him hard, and they made him look like a backup. They really did. And I just think that, and Tony Romo said it. And side note, isn't Tony Romo great?
He's
Isn't he a great
impressive.
broadcaster?
He's impressive. He's become very
He is
impressive.
super impressive. Sometimes he's a little extra, but I like it. And I think he's like super fun to listen to and refreshing. And almost like a total guru. He's like calling plays before they actually even happen. He's like, yeah, he's incredible. But he had made a point before the game. The Ravens' key to victory was to turn back the hands of time. And that's exactly what the Ravens did. They got back to playing physical, stop the run defense, and get after you defense. And they ran the ball well. Actually, very well.
Yeah.
I think it was like 175 rushing yards. Alex Collins went totally bananas. But it was the defense that won that game. And I just think it was a better scheme for the Ravens. Dolphins could act. That's how I saw it.
All right. So I'm gonna have to go in the opposite direction.
Agree with me?
No, absolutely not.
You just think it was bad? Of course.
I do think it was bad because, and I'll tell you why. It's simple. I do not think that what the Ravens did is something we're going to see week in and week out from now on. I'm not buying into that. And because I'm not buying into that, I'm gonna say that it has more to do with their opponent than who they are. So I'm going to say that this is, and because I'm going to say that this is more of a flukish thing, we won't see this type of dominance from them, I'm going to say it has to do with their opponent, who was the Dolphins, and how the Dolphins played last night, which was pretty bad. They didn't do anything really well last night. It was poor. It was very poor. And watching this game kind of reminded me of some of the shutouts that Jacksonville had. And then they'd come back and then, they lose the next game or whatever have you. And that's kind of been the Ravens too, going up and down. Either they're really winning or they're really losing. And so that's why I'm like, I can't sit here and give the credit to the Ravens and say they're turning back the hands of time. This is what we're going to should be expecting from this defense from here on out.
No. That's far from what I said. But I'm saying that is the only way. Like, given the team and their circumstances right now and the way they're constructed, that has got to be their formula from here on out. That's what they got to do. They have to play great defense and run the ball and be able to run the ball.
Right. So I'm saying they're not that good. That's why I'm saying they are not as good as this game has projected them to be.
Well, I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, the last 4 games for the Ravens have not the defense has not looked good.
Right.
At all. But it's tough because the first 3 games they were like arguably the best defense in the league.
Right. So they're somewhere in the middle is what I'm saying between the two.
And they just got back their star defensive lineman and Brandon Williams, key component into stopping the run for them. Very key. And this is what they got to look forward to. Hopefully they can get back to the formula of defense that they had in the beginning of the year. Because I think before last night's game, they were ranked dead last in run defense.
Dead last in run defense.
Whereas they were ranked first or second in the beginning of the year. And they opened up the season with a shutout against the Cincinnati Bengals. And they had 10 turnovers in the first 2 games of the season. So this defense has the potential to be great. It's just they need to help the offense big time, and the Ravens need to get back to running the ball and take pressure off of Flacco.
Right. And speaking of Flacco, he is in the concussion protocol.
See how I do that?
He is in the concussion protocol. Well, I see that you trust me to be able to take it and roll with it, but
of course you do. Of course you do.
Yeah, so he is in the concussion protocol because there was a big-time hit laid on him from Kiko Alonso, former Buffalo Bill, now Miami Dolphin. And a lot of people took issue with it. Ravens decided as a team that was going to be the spark, that they really wanted to amp it up after that hit. A lot of them saw it as dirty, but I didn't really see it as a dirty hit. I saw it over and over, obviously, because everybody's replaying it and whatever have you. But I didn't see it as something dirty. Now people are expecting suspension. People are expecting fines. Some people expecting suspension.
Absolutely, 100%
Where
fine.
are you? Are you thinking suspension too? Then
I don't think that he'll get a suspension.
do you think he deserves one?
When I first saw it, when it first happened, I took to Facebook and had some not very nice things to say. Okay, because if anybody hasn't been paying attention, I'm a huge Baltimore Ravens fan, and they're very near and dear to my heart. And I feel like I am a player, and I'm part of the team. So when that happened, I felt like something was done to me. So I took to Facebook and social media, and I had some not some nice things to say about Kiko's hit. And I do think that, listen, this is the way I looked at it, and this is how I made my argument on social media. This is a play that us as viewers see hundreds of times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds. This happens all the time. Quarterback gets out of the pocket, he starts running, gets close to defenders, and he slides. Almost always, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the usual outcome? The defenders get close and they pull up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw this as the same exact thing. Flacco ran, was trying to get a first down, got close to defenders, gave himself up and slid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you look at it, Kiko, I guess, was already almost in air,
Mm-hmm.
but it looked like he kind of dug the shoulder down and tried to toughen up the blow a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think he was trying to hurt him. I don't think it was malicious. I do think it could have been avoided. I know it's hard, especially if maybe he was already, but I don't want to hear the excuse that, oh, he slid late. Like, come on. We're not talking about like Cam Newton, who's going to fight you for that first down, right? Like Cam Newton is like totally unique to the other 31 quarterbacks in the league. Like, they're not going to fight you for that first down. You know that he's going to pull up and slide. Just like Kiko Alonso might have seen this exact play and been involved in this type of thing 1,000 times in his career. And all 9 times out of 10, he's pulled up. I'd be willing to guarantee that. And this time he lays the blow. Yeah, now his pockets are going to suffer for that. Do I think he's going to be suspended? No. Do I think he should be? No. I'm not always up to just throw out suspensions like that. Find the guy, let it hurt his pockets, and let him feel it that way. You don't need to take him out of the game.
You and me are going to disagree all day. I could already tell because I
can understand. Like, I'm a little bit more like closer to it, so it affects me a little bit more. But I'm trying my very best to see the other point of view.
All right, so here I'll break down the other point of view for you. So let's take out the fact that he is a quarterback. Let's take out that title. All right, you're
But
Kiko.
You can't.
Just follow me for a second. All right, because as a defender, and you used to play defense, so you can testify for this. All right. Now you have, well, in this case you can't testify because they're a lot bigger than when we played, but you've got somebody who's over 6 foot. What is he? 6'4", something around that margin.
Flacco's a tall dude, yeah,
right?
I'd say that.
So you got a 6'4", 240 dude running at me. All right, I'm the defender. This guy is clearly trying to get the first down. It's not like he's slowing up.
That was
slide.
his intentions,
right? To get the first down. I'm the defender.
Obviously.
And I have to stop you from getting to that first down. That is what I have to do. All right. So I already know that I can't go high, so I'm going to go low. You already said that you already saw him basically in that type of launch mode.
It would look like he was he wasn't launched, but he was getting ready.
Right. He already prepped and going.
He was
right?
prepping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
He was hitting him regardless.
Yeah. So right. So once as you can testify to this, as a player, once you're in prep, you're already going. Like the prep is quick, especially as quick as these athletes are. This is happening fast, right? Prep and launched, right? So that means you've already committed to this. Now, as he's already prepped and launches, he launches low. Now, Joe Flacco slides into his low trajectory because when he launched himself, I'm pretty sure he was not going to be launching himself thinking he's going to get a head-to-head hit. I'm launching and I'm hitting him low. Now you slide, and now my lowness matches with your head because you have changed your trajectory from where you were when I decided to make my launch. And here's our collision.
I agree, and that's how it happened.
Right.
You broke it down exactly how it happened. But my point.
So there shouldn't be. I don't think it should be a fine. I don't think he could have pulled
Oh
up.
no, he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying he will because the rules are the rules. But I don't think he should be fined, and I don't think he did anything wrong in that case because he launched low, so he didn't hit high. Joe Flacco decided to go low when he was already deciding to launch low, and the collision happened. It's just a bang bang type thing. We don't want to see anybody get.
It was bang bang.
Yeah.
But the point is that the contact could have been avoided because you know that he's going to give himself up.
No. You can't just assume someone's going to give something up because if they don't give it up and you assumed, who's going to get that blame? Think about that,
guess.
Right?
I guess.
There have been players who aren't meant to run, and we've seen them dive forward or whatever have you. When you dive forward, you're free to get hit, especially, right? So we don't know if they're going to dive forward or if they're going to slide. You don't know what they're thinking of doing. We know that they're trying to get that first down. So we know we have to stop him from getting that first down. So we're going to try and get that hit on him so that he doesn't get the first down. Now, if he dove forward and Kiko didn't launch and he gets the first down, we're all going to sit here and look at Kiko like, come on, man. You could have stopped him from getting to that first down. But it's like, I thought he was going to slide. Now everybody's looking at you like you stupid. Why are you going to assume?
It's tough.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying
it's a tough situation.
So that's why I don't want to call it a dirt. If you want to find him,
stir, and after that, it got totally chippy.
Yes, it really did, and that's why I'm saying you want to find him, fine. That's the rules, but I don't want to hear that he laid a dirty hit because to me, and he was put in that situation, and he was already ready to go as far as his launch point went and where he was going to launch. It was Joe who slid into his launch path. His head at least slid into it. So I just don't want to call this a dirty hit. Kiko Alonso has never been known for doing dirty type plays or anything like that. This was just one of those plays, and as you said, it happens all the time. So I don't want people to crucify this guy over this one hit.
He won't be. And I've already heard major sports radio analysts and broadcasters take the side of the defender. But nonetheless, it was a brutal hit.
It was.
Flacco does have a concussion. He did cut his ear very badly, which he got stitches on right away. Mind you, without any anesthesia or anything.
Tough guy.
He's a very tough guy. Yeah. Just a quick story. You remember 2 years ago when he tore his ACL in the game? During the game? He tore his ACL, and he still finished the series, the offensive series. He didn't come off until the offensive series was done. He was playing out there with a torn ACL. He's a very tough guy. And they got an extended week for him to get right. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he'll be back. We'll see. They got the Titans coming up next week. We'll see.
Yeah.
But also, I wanted to point out that we were talking about the Ravens defense and how you don't see this being something that they'll be able to sustain.
Yes.
But
not this
offense,
type of dominance. And I don't think their offense will be this dominant either.
But they did go up against a very solid Miami Dolphins defense.
Which is why I'm saying bad Dolphins. Because they're not known for normally playing like this. And your offense has not been known for playing like they did. So I have to say...
No, but they also have not once this year have given full reins to Alex Collins, who looked like a world beater out there because he you watch the game, he looked great.
Yeah. Well,
He looked
he
great.
did, but like I said, I just have to go with the fact that I just don't think the Dolphins. I think they just laid an egg. They played flat.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not
now
saying
for
that
the
if they played well that they would have won the game, but I definitely don't think it would have been a 44-0 if they were playing at their quality of play that they normally play at. That's why I'm saying it's more bad Dolphins than good Ravens.
true. And also for the Floridians listening out there, the Miami fans. Moving forward, we now know that Matt Moore is not the guy.
And Jay
Like
Cutler
some
will be
people,
coming back next week apparently.
Jay Cutler will be the guy, and I think he gives you the best chance for success. As scary as that may seem to some, some thought that Matt Moore was going to totally come out there and cause a QB controversy,
Yeah.
but that
And
was
I think
totally
they
shot
should
down.
actually have a discussion about that. I really do. Even though he laid an
They
egg in
won't.
this game, I
They will
think that
not.
they should.
No.
But yeah, you're probably
The
right.
reason being is because you also can go out when you saw him out there, there was a bunch of communication issues. He couldn't get the offensive lineman in the right spot sometimes
Mhm.
because the Ravens' defensive scheme, they were lining people up all over the place. They were moving a lot. They confused him, and it caused for issues out there and a couple pick sixes. But gosh darn, could they get Ajayi going at all this year?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them, but I don't want to. I know obviously we have our Dolphins fans and love talking about this game Thursday Night
We're
Football.
thinking about you guys. Trust
yeah.
me.
So, but I need us to get into these games real quick. So, let's get into these games. The first game that we do have going on is Vikings at Browns. They're in London, right? So, Vikings Browns London. I have to tell you, I'm a little worried for the Vikings in this game.
Oh, that's right. We are going back to London.
Yes, we are.
The
And
NFL's going back across the pond. I like it.
yeah, and I'm telling you,
Isn't it great? Real quick, isn't it great to wake up in the morning and have football on, and then football's on all day, nonstop?
it is.
You
it
go
is.
from the morning game right into the 1 o'clock games,
Yeah.
and then it's just nonstop.
It's like another Thanksgiving.
Yes. So what's your take on this game?
I'm nervous for the Vikings, man. I'm
Oh
really
yeah,
nervous.
I'm nervous for anybody that goes to.
To London.
I'm nervous for anybody that goes to London unless your team name is Jacksonville
Right.
Jaguars.
So, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, and I'm like, could the Browns take advantage of this London game? Like, I'm just sitting here. I'm like, a lot of teams play flat when they go to London, and it
do.
would be so crazy if they get their first win right here against the Vikings because
Yeah.
they're in London, just for the simple fact that they had to travel to London and they just
It would
played
be so
played
NFL
better.
like.
Yeah, so I really don't know, and it would be NFL like. So I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna say that Deshaun Kaiser actually plays a full game and doesn't get benched, and that they win this game somehow, some crazy way, and it's not because the Vikings are a worse team. It's not because the Browns are a better team. It's just for the simple fact that teams don't play up to par when they go to London. And I think that the Vikings may not play how they should when they get to London, and it may cost them this game.
Yeah, so you're going with
I'm going
London
with
the London flukiness
Yep.
that tends to happen out there. Hey, I can't be mad at it, but I'm still gonna go with the Minnesota Vikings, just for the simple fact that they're the better team.
Yeah.
And I think that this team's been playing very well, and I think that they're gonna be able to deal with the circumstances in the game better than the Cleveland Browns.
I mean, I like I said,
It sounds simple. It sounds simple, but something weird goes on when you cross those seas.
Yeah.
So the water's different out there.
Yeah, so I mean, if the Vikings win, it's not like I'm sitting here shocked that they won. It's more like, all right, well, I'm just willing to go out on a limb on this one and say the Browns get their first win. If they're gonna get one, this is the one to get. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with it. So moving on, we have Falcons at Jets. Falcons have gone 0-3 so far to the AFC
I knew
East.
you'd bring it up.
Of course, they've gone 0-3 to the AFC East. Here comes their last opponent in the AFC on their little tour that they have now taken. The Jets coming off of a loss to Miami. Where are we going? How do you think this is going to play out? Do you think the Jets have a bounce back game, or do you think the Falcons break their 3-game losing streak that they've been on so far?
I actually see this being a very fun game to watch. I think it's going to be pretty competitive. And I can actually see McCown having another very good game
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta's defense hasn't been what they were last year.
Right.
The
Right.
Atlanta football team in general just hasn't. But I do see the Falcons breaking this 0-3 streak of losses against the AFC East,
Mm-hmm.
and asserting their dominance after their pitiful performance against the Patriots, and kind of taking the step back into the right direction.
Okay. I'm gonna go in the opposite direction. I'm taking the
You're
Jets.
gonna, yeah, you're
I'm
gonna go
gonna
with the trend.
yeah, and it's not even just the 0-3. It is the fact that this defense, the Jets defense, is top 5 in takeaways. Let me just get that out the
Yes,
way right now. They're top 5 in takeaways,
yes.
and Matt Ryan is known for giving the ball away. Whether it's through the
Hmm.
air or whether he fumbles the ball, he's known for giving the ball away and giving opportunity to the opposing team. And I have to say the Jets. I know we're watching this game against when the Patriots dominated them, and the Jets. If the Patriots can dominate them defensively, I have no doubt that the Jets can do the same, and the Jets can make this a close, low-scoring game if they need to. They can make this. They can win ugly. I haven't seen the Falcons win ugly in quite some time. So
Yeah,
if this game gets ugly, like I think it may get, then I'm taking the Jets in this one. So I'm definitely rolling with the Jets.
I
Ah,
like your take. I like your take, but I also wanted to point out real quick is that Atlanta, I do think that they win this game having much more success on the ground than they do have on the air.
okay, all right. So moving to their rivals who are facing off against each other for the Falcons, we got the Panthers at Bucks. Panthers
Good game.
Panthers coming off of a loss, and Cam Newton deciding to be Cam Newton and not, entertain the media, and having issues with the media again, being a little bit of a distraction. And then you have the Bucks, who just had a hard fought battle against the Bills. They had their loss against them. Both teams coming off losses, divisional rivals going at it at Bucks. Who you got?
Oh man, I see Tampa Bay getting it together here in another fun game because I love both of these quarterbacks, and I think it's fun when we get to see them go at it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Cam Newton, obviously, he, having his bit of his circus show again,
Yep, yep.
kind of can't stay out of the media for the wrong reasons, and I don't think it's gonna affect the team at all. I think that Carolina's gonna have a tough time coming into Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay coming off a tough loss. Amazing game against the Bills.
Mm-hmm. A very good game.
Great game. One of my favorites of last week. I just think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers they find a way to get this done.
All right, so I'm just letting you know right now. Besides the fact that we've disagreed on all of our games, I wanted
You're
to,
gonna
I want to
Are
point
you
out.
going Carolina?
I, oh wait, did you go with the Bucks or did you go with Carolina?
I'm going with Carolina.
You're going with
I mean,
Carolina.
I'm going with the Bucks. I'm going with
Oh,
the Bucks. Are you going with
oh,
Carolina?
okay. Sorry, no. I'm going with the Bucks. Okay, so then
Okay, thank you.
my take goes away because I was about to say you've taken every team that's away so far. I was about to point that out to you. Um,
I did notice that. Yeah. Well, not necessarily. Well, I guess
well, the Browns are
technically
at home, so it is what it's their home game that's
it's
being.
considered a home game,
Yeah.
but it's not really.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going with the Bucks. I believe that the Bucks offense will be better than the Panthers offense. I think, and I
Yes.
like the
Yes.
Buccaneers offense better. The fact that they're mixing in OJ Howard now makes them even that much
Absolutely.
more of a threat. So, and if they keep
And
OJ,
Brate's a formidable tight end too.
he is already by
He's
himself.
good for like a touchdown every week.
Right. And so the fact that you have a 1-2 punch with them, and if they keep OJ
Doug
Howard
Martin's back.
going with Deshaun Jackson on the other side with Mike Evans, I really like their offense. I've always liked their offense, and I think that they've underperformed. But I think that if they get this thing going and Jameis really picks things up, absolutely, I can see them taking this win, and it's at home.
Yeah, I see Dougie Fresh having a good game.
Yes, Doug Martin. Yes, absolutely too. So obviously, we're both agreeing. Buccaneers are taking this one. So let's move it to the next game. 49ers at Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. You used it. I
Uh-huh.
was also gonna use it at one point. in this-
So I think we both are in agreement on this one, unless you have an upset alert.
Very much so.
Okay.
No, not here.
All right, so we're both taking the Eagles in this game. Obviously, it's due to the fact that Carson Wentz is playing some great football right now. That defense is truly
Phenomenal.
rallying under Jim
Yes.
Schwartz, that we just don't see the 49ers being able to win this one.
No.
Now, I think that the 49ers may make it interesting, may make it a little bit fun, make things a little bit closer than we thought. That's at least what I think.
It's very tough to go into Philly if you're not a good team.
I mean, well, yeah, they're not a good team, but I really do think that they can just make things interesting. I think maybe until halftime, maybe third quarter.
Sake, I hope it is.
Yeah,
I hope it is.
I think maybe to like third quarter or so, it could be a close game, and then the Eagles eventually pull away, something like that. But we'll see exactly what happens. But let's get to the Bears at Saints. Bears at Saints. Saints, they've won that since going 0-2. They've won 4 straight. They're a hot team right now.
They are.
Is their streak continuing right here? Do they get their 5th win?
Man, I was looking at this game earlier, and I'm like, I really don't know which way to go. I feel like this could be just a coin toss because I see this being a very competitive game. And that Bears defense is super stingy and is allowed under 200 yards to opposing passing to opposing offenses. And for some reason, I just can't see Breeze not throwing for over 200 yards. I think Breeze finds a way to get things done and get this W.
Yeah, I'm
going to go with New Orleans.
You and me are both in agreement here. I think that the Saints, I've been betting against them for the last couple of weeks because of their defense, but it seems like their defense is becoming more of a consistent thing, so I'm not going to doubt their defense as of right now. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll see if it holds throughout the entire season, but I definitely see them getting this win and taking it home.
I'm not super confident with that pick, though.
All right, so
are you?
No, I am. I am confident in this pick.
I'm not. I'm actually not super confident with really any of these picks except for Philly. This has been one of the tougher weeks for me to pick.
Well, the reason I'm so confident, on top of the fact that their defense is playing well, on top of it being Drew Brees, is the fact that they're playing at home as well in that Superdome. So I don't see the Bears coming into that dome and getting this win. I really don't. So
I don't either. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So a game that I think that should be really interesting. I think it'll be a nice high octane, high scoring. Chargers at Patriots.
I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
It will be.
Chargers finally turning it around.
Mm-hmm.
Finally turning it around. Let me hear what you got to say about it.
All right. So this one was a little tough for me to try and wrap my mind around because the Chargers they're getting things together, but so are the Patriots. So
yes,
it puts me in a little situation where I'm like, man, who do I want to trust more defensively? Because offensively, I think they both have great quarterbacks who can put up points. I think they both have good weapons that can help them get those points. Now the question comes to defense. Now, do I believe in what I saw from the from the Patriots last week against the Falcons? Or do I go the other direction and say, nah, I trust the Chargers a bit more with their defense and their pass rush that they've been able to get as of late? It racks my brain. And then on top of that, the Patriots are home.
Yeah, it's super hard to pick against the Patriots, but it makes it even harder when they're at home.
Yeah, so because of that, I'm just going to take the safe bet, and I'm going to say that the Patriots maintain having the lead of the AFC East with another win over the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with San Diego.
All right, okay.
Yeah, listen, I'm totally not sold yet on the New England defense. I'm not sure if that's the defense that we're going to see from here on out. They played a pretty simple defensive scheme against Atlanta, and it worked out for them.
Yep.
I don't think they can do that with this team. Even though they're almost not equally as talented offensively, the Chargers and Atlanta, it's just Phillip Rivers is a little bit more seasoned than Matt Ryan. And I think he's going to be able to put the ball exactly where it needs to be. And also, Melvin Gordon will have a monstrous game against this New England defense. I think in a high-scoring game, Chargers find a way to squeeze one out. This is me going out on a whim here because I obviously it's tough to pick against New England at home, but I think that the Chargers come in and shock the world a little bit, and then bring their record back to 500 after going 0-4 to start the season.
Hey, and I would absolutely love for that to be the result, but I think that in this game, it ends up being something that happens. The Chargers do something to end up losing this game, not because that they're not
You think they
talented
lose
enough.
the game?
Yes, I
Yeah.
feel like they find a way to
that's
lose this game against a team.
Usually what they do.
Yeah, and I think against a team like the Patriots, who don't usually beat themselves, that
Right.
if you don't make sure that you are, dot your I's and cross your T's, something's going to happen. So we're both going to be split there. But moving on from the Patriots, who are number 1 in the AFC East, to the team that's number 2 in the AFC East, we got Raiders coming to Buffalo. I think this is another good game that's coming up this week.
Game.
I think
Love this game.
This is a statement game for the Bills, if you ask me personally, to put
Absolutely.
them on the map. Where are you going with this one? I want to hear what you got to say.
I really, really like what the Buffalo Bills are doing lately. And I think that what we saw Oakland do in Kansas City is not likely to happen again.
As far as what? Offensively, defensively, what are we talking here?
Offensively.
Okay.
Especially Amari Cooper.
Okay.
Who had a monstrous game. But I like Buffalo's defense a lot against Oakland. And I think Buffalo's defense ends up winning the game for them. I see a couple turnovers coming for Buffalo, and I'm gonna roll with Buffalo. I'm sure you like to hear that.
I absolutely do love to hear that, and I want to roll Buffalo myself. I mean, they do have the number 1 defense in takeaways, the number 1 scoring defense in the league as of right now. So I'm going to roll with Buffalo too. I'm going to say their defense has something.
Very
to do.
solid team. Nobody's really talking about them.
Nope, because 17-year drought, so nobody talks about
I'm almost
that.
willing. Yeah, exactly. I'm almost willing to say that Buffalo is a better team than Oakland.
I wouldn't go that far. I think they're both.
I do think so.
I don't think so, and the only reason I'm going to say that is because they don't have offensive weapons like that. It's just Tyrod Taylor who's pulling this thing out, but besides LaShawn McCoy, they don't really have the offensive weapons, which is why
the Bills could reach out to Martavis Bryant.
That's been in speculation that the Bills should do something like that. Also, another name that's been floating out there
Larry
is
Fitzgerald.
Well, no. Another name that's floating out there is
I heard that name circulating.
Terrell Pryor has been a name that has also circulated because he hasn't been doing much with the Redskins. They're saying he hasn't really produced. They're saying that he could be on the trading block, that they'd be willing to get rid of him. There's a lot of names out there, but I don't want to get too heavily into this because there's a couple more games that we have to get to, but we both got the Bills.
We're both going with the Bills.
All right, so let's go Colts at Bengals. This game, I think we're both on the same page unless you got an upset alert. But I'm going with the Bengals in this game. Are you in agreement with me here? Or are you taking Colts?
My gut is telling me Indianapolis.
Ooh, okay.
And any time on this show that I've not gone with my gut, I ended up being wrong. So just on pure gut feeling, I'm going with Indianapolis.
All right. I'm not mad at you. All right. So I'm going Bengals. You're going Colts. Let's move on to their division opponent, Texans. Texans are at Seahawks. Texans, obviously, we already spoke about them at the beginning of the show. All the issues that came up with McNair, DeAndre Hopkins, all of that. Is that a distraction in a very bad time to have a distraction against the Seahawks?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I'm just going to look at it in the way of as if this didn't happen and just look at it as the teams as I see them and how I feel. Mm-hmm. And I do think Seattle's starting to turn it around, but gosh darn it, after the bye week, it's like we almost kind of forgot about how hot Deshaun Watson has been.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ride with the hot hand here, and I'm gonna go Houston takes W in Seattle.
Okay, well, this is a very conservative week for me, at least. I feel very conservative, and I'm going to take the Seahawks. I'm going to say the 12th man helps them out. I'm going to say that this is a defense of caliber team that
You've gone with every home team.
Have I?
I think so.
I think I have. Yeah. Yes, I have.
You've gone with every home
I
team.
have gone with every home team so far, and that's not even by accident. That's an accident. Okay.
No,
Well,
you just said it. You're playing conservative.
well, it's not even conservative. I just think that the Seahawks are a better team, and I think that Deshaun
Gotta
Watson
live life on
hasn't.
the edge, my friend.
I think that Deshaun Watson has not yet played. He's not played a defense like this, and that's going to be an
No.
eye opener for him. And I think they're going to take advantage of taking on a rookie quarterback. All
We'll
right.
see. I think if any of them can handle it, it'd be Watson, though.
I believe you on that one. But going from one hot commodity in Deshaun Watson to last year's hot commodity in Dak Prescott with the Cowboys taking on the Redskins at Redskins. Redskins need this win. Cowboys need this win. They both need this win
this game.
very big.
And this game's always good.
It is. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going with the away team on this one. I'm taking the Cowboys. This will be
Me
my
too.
first one. Okay, so we're both going Cowboys in this instance. I think once that happens, we start seeing the Cowboys start pushing towards the Eagles, and that should be a great collision that happen later on down the stretch.
I think that Dallas is just the better team right now. I think they're probably a little bit more hungry. I think they're more balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Although Washington should not be taken lightly because they're a very good team.
They are. I just think that the Cowboys are starting to figure out how to get things rolling again, and that they're gonna find a way to win this one.
I agree.
Yeah. So another team that is also getting things going. They've got things going in the right direction, as it seems. Steelers at Lions. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go in
With the home team.
I'm gonna go with the Steelers. Now,
Good choice.
I'm only going with the Steelers because I picked the Lions a couple times and they've let me down. So in this case, I will
That's
go.
what they do.
Whatever.
No,
I'm gonna go Sunday Night Football. Steelers take this one home, even though they have all of this drama still going on around Brian. And
Steelers secretly the most dysfunctional team.
yes, honestly, they truly are. I can't wrap my
With
mind
everything
around
from the offseason till now, where you had Le'Veon Bell holding out.
it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, even before that, Big Ben thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell holding out. And now Antonio Brown throwing Gatorade buckets. Martavis Bryant saying he should be getting the ball. He wants to be traded. Big Ben saying maybe I don't have it anymore.
Yep.
Super dysfunctional, but extremely successful. And that's credit to Coach Mike Tomlin.
Yep. And so you're taking Steelers too then?
I'm going with Pittsburgh.
All right. So last game, which I think is going to be a great one again, and it's on Monday night. We're Broncos at Chiefs. And I'm going back home, and I'm taking the Chiefs
me
at
too.
home. I don't think that
I think
Trevor
it's
Siemian's
too
got
hard.
it.
I think it's a little too hard to go against the Chiefs in this game, especially after their loss to Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to keep their stance in this division,
Yeah.
and they're clearly the better team. Definitely more complete team than Denver, and they're getting better quarterback play. So I'm going with Kansas City on this one.
All right, so we're both in agreement with Kansas City. So that is our picks. It should be a great one. I look forward to this season.
It always is.
It really is. And we're going to have a great NFL weekend. And don't worry, there is basketball still going on. We didn't get into basketball today, but obviously when we come back next Tuesday, we will get back into the basketball. Had to get our picks in today, though. But
Yes, we did.
it has been a great time. Our music is playing, so you know we're out of time here. But from Eric, what do you got to say to the people? Last thoughts.
As always, peace and love.
All right, everybody. Till next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 to 9, WUBA 88.1 FM, The Game Plan.